Well, hello friends. Welcome. My name is Michelle, and welcome to Mood for Books. So this is the kind of okay. Let's start again. Hi everyone. My name is Michelle. This is maybe my fourth, fifth, sixth take in making this video, and I'm not gonna edit this anymore. So we're just gonna go straight through. Okay. Kembali lagi back to Mood for Books. Not back to because this is the first video di mana I ask what you are in the mood to read books on gitu ya. Jadi lagi mood baca apa dan I'm gonna give out some recommendations. It was just actually for fun. Jadi aku kayak nanya aja gitu di Instastory kayak lagi mood baca apa sih. Terus ternyata kayak menarik-menarik deh orang kayak lagi moodnya gitu. Terus kayak jadi ingin nggak tahu like I was maybe like in the mood to share more. Like I'm not sure because actually this is the first like longer video that I made on book reviews karena even though I've been sharing book reviews for like almost 2 years now on Instagram, cuman kan itu kayak bentuknya biasa Insta story atau reels gitu ya. Jadi kayak gampang aja gitu kalau mau diedit. Sedangkan you're gonna listen to me yap for the next I don't know 5, 10, 20 minutes. Let's see how long it takes and whether or not I get carried away. So bear with me. Of course you can exit anytime. But yeah, like we are gonna yap non-stop. Oke, so kenapa aku bikin ini juga? Karena kadang there are so many books out there and you don't know, like you're just overwhelmed. Baca apa ya gitu? Atau kadang you've been in a reading slump and you don't know how to climb back up from that slump. I've been there, done that. So I just thought like having it hyper focused. Kayak ya udah direkomendasi aja gitu satu buku, 2 buku, 3 buku. It's gonna help you with your decision because like there are so many books to read, so little time obviously. Yeah. So that's it. Aku suka lompat-lompat topik ya kadang, jadi sabar-sabar aja kalau mendengar aku ngomong gitu ya. But we are gonna get down to the books. We are gonna get down to business. Okay, we are gonna talk. Let's see how many books we can talk about today. But we're gonna start off dengan pertanyaan atau moodnya dari P. Widya Kirana alias Kak Idia. Hai Kak Idia. Kak Idia bertanya tentang what is like the most life-changing book. Disclaimer dulu, aku tuh orangnya lupaan ya gitu kalau misalnya baca. Jadi kayak I don't always remember the story, but I remember the feeling gitu. Dan I don't reread books, so like udah lupa terus nggak baca lagi gitu kan. So when I read this question, I was thinking about apakah the life-changing book itu sesuatu yang buku yang aku baca pas kecil yang jadi menumbuhkan rasa cintaku terhadap membaca gitu ya, seperti Lima Sekawannya Enid Blyton atau Alex Ridernya Anthony Horowitz gitu ya, or something more eye-opening that I meet when I'm more like adult gitu ya, seperti mungkin The Jakarta Method, which I do think everyone should read it gitu. But I think eye-opening doesn't always mean life-changing, but also you are changed by every book that you read. So what I think about when I think about this question itu sebenarnya adalah buku-bukunya Fredrik Backman. He writes The Man Called Ove. I say it in a Swedish accent. I think that's Swedish. That's so cute. Man Called Ove. Anxious People, Beartown Trilogy, and The Way Home gets longer and longer. And I think his most recent book is called My Friends. Dan apa ya? Buku-buku ini itu mungkin buku-buku yang tells about the universal feeling of being human, just like the human experience aja gitu. Karena again aku kayak Anxious People aku udah lupa ya sebenarnya jalan cerita pastinya tuh apa gitu. I know that it was like a robbery, tapi kayak robbery kan maksudnya sebuah crime, and then like actually when you get to know even like the robbers better gitu ya, ketika kita berusaha untuk mengerti perampok-perampoknya, mereka juga punya alasan di baliknya gitu. Jadi itu sebenarnya tema besar dari buku-buku Fredrik Backman, yaitu menjembatani perbedaan I feel ya gitu, karena kayak di dunia yang mungkin semakin isolated dan lonely ini, dan everyone kayaknya udah sangat individualis, dan semakin kayaknya terpencar-pencar hidupnya, semakin banyak apa ya, pandangan ekstremis juga gitu ya. Jadi kayak kalau hitam putih gitu, kalau misalnya nggak, kalau lo nggak setuju sama gue berarti kita berbeda gitu ya. Eh, Buku-buku Frederick Backman itu seperti air di padang gurun gitu ya, oase di padang gurun gitu, karena menurutku di buku-buku dia itu kayak maksudnya karakter yang sepertinya tidak terlihat ada persamaannya gitu ya, kayak pasti beda banget lah gitu, tapi ternyata when you get to know them deeper, when you ask ya, when you're curious, when you talk, sebenarnya kita tuh sebenarnya nggak beda-beda jauh banget guys gitu, maksudnya kayak we can find a common ground gitu between people, and I think that's always beautiful gitu. And also the power of connection, kayak bagaimana like like just showing up for each other, and it doesn't need to be a big amount of people gitu, you just only need one person who you show up for, who show up for you gitu, and that makes a lot of difference. So aku rasa kayak bukunya itu sangat apa ya, mengajak kita untuk curious, be more curious towards other people, dan melihat sesuatu, melihat seseorang tuh tidak hitam putih gitu, dan nggak semua orang kadang memiliki waktu, kapasitas to be this gitu ya, karena memang untuk melihat sesuatu dengan abu-abu, it takes a lot of effort, but I think it is worth doing. It is worth doing in our lifetime gitu do. So if jadi maksudnya buku yang life changing buat aku itu bukan buku yang kayak self help or psychology dan sebagainya, but it's this, and it stays with me. I think for the feeling stays with me for a long time. Selanjutnya ini ada beberapa yang nanya sih, but as few people ask about memoir or biography gitu ya. Disclaimer dulu, aku tuh sebenarnya nggak terlalu banyak baca memoir or biography gitu ya, karena kayaknya aku somehow jarang look up ke orang-orang terkenal aja sih gitu. Jadi like I cannot relate with like parasocial relationship atau kayak fangirling gitu ya. Maksudnya kayak inspired tentunya gitu ya, like hello inspired like Michelle Obama or Najwa Shihab gitu. Cuman kalau misalnya kayak ditanya gitu ya, ada pertanyaan living or dead, which famous people do you want to have dinner with or talk to? I will always blank out, kayak nggak tahu siapa ya, nggak tahu, dan maksudnya kalau tahu pun apa ya, ngomong apa gitu, like sometimes I just feel mungkin lebih tertarik sama ngobrol sama orang yang kayak kelihatannya mungkin nggak like nggak yang high profile atau sebagainya gitu, karena kayak again as I said before in the category before, kayak some people itu kayak no, not some, everyone if we're curious enough holds a very interesting story gitu, dan jadi aku kayak lebih tertarik aja. Dan kadang kalian suka ngeliat gak sih, kadang kalau yang kayak orang-orang dapet award like 30 under 30 or like 40 under whatever gitu ya, terus saya suka beberapa tahun kemudian mungkin dapat skandal dan sebagainya. So I never really quite believe in like that like kind of like concept of famous people and like that kind of story, like no offense famous people, I'm sure you do great things, tapi kayak dari semua memoir or biography and my lukewarm reaction to it, I think one stood out, and that is When Breath Becomes Air by Paul Kalanithi. So Paul Kalanithi ini adalah seorang neurosurgeon di Amerika Serikat. Dia lagi berkarir seperti biasa gitu ya, dan one day dia merasakan sakit I think ya, dan ternyata dia divonis kanker gitu. Jadi divonis kanker, dan buku ini memoir dari bagaimana perjalanan dia menghadapi menghadapi vonis kanker ini gitu. Dan dia di akhir buku, ya udah akhir buku aja ya, cuman okay, let's get it from the top. Jadi di awal-awal buku di part 1-nya itu dia memang lebih menjelaskan tentang background-nya dia, kayak how did he become a doctor, lalu bagaimana di his line of work itu bukan cuman tentang bagaimana kita membantu orang untuk sembuh gitu ya sebagai dokter. I'm not a doctor, why am I saying kita? Bagaimana dokter membantu orang untuk sembuh, tapi juga the care, you know, like this patient care yang seringkali tuh bukan menjadi fokus dokter gitu ya, kayak ya fokusnya adalah gue bantu lo sembuh, bukan I don't need to be nice to you or something, but it is much needed gitu. Oke, di part kedua adalah ketika I think dia udah mendapatkan vonis tersebut gitu, dan di mana dia sempat juga mendapatkan remisi gitu ya. Dan di masa remisi ini dia memiliki anak gitu. So he had a daughter which sadly dia kembali lagi mendapatkan kanker. So the cancer returned, and by the end of the book, actually his spouse, jadi Lucy Kalanithi itu yang menyelesaikan bukunya gitu, karena Paul Kalanithi he passed away before the book was finished gitu. So oh my god, guys, bayangin aku baca buku ini tuh tahun 2018, and this was not a thick book, gak setebel-tebel itu, tapi aku beli sebelum flight ke Bali. So bayangin ya, lagi di Bali dengan udara segar, angin sepoi-sepoi, langit biru, awan putih. Siang-siang aku nangis. Jadi I was like crying so hard, the waterworks all around, kayak lagi nonton iklan Thailand gitu kan, nangis terus gitu. Karena kalau misalnya lo gak nangis baca buku ini gak punya hati sih gitu, kayak sedih banget gitu ya, entah kenapa, but also like how courageous he is gitu, kayak we are all, like we fear death because of the uncertainty, but he stared at death in the eyes and like make the best out of it gitu. And I think he left a very meaningful legacy gitu. Tentang what really matters at the end of your life gitu ya, ketika ya udah lo nggak bisa beli apa-apa lagi gitu, like money is not gonna buy you anything, what will you do gitu. So that's so if you can tell, like the memoir or biography that I like itu bukan kayak tentang success story atau kayak insider story gitu, or I don't know, like yang kayak kesuksesan gitu-gitu deh. Kayak I like books that are about maybe like something that holds meaning or values more, kayak tentang apa sih yang kayak what really matters, you know, like in the end gitu, what do you really value. I think that is much more intriguing than success story dan business and motivator things. Yes. Okay, so that's it. I think from this story. Also, before we moved on, Mr. Paul Kalanithi reminded me of Doctor Strange actually, karena Doctor Strange juga kayak, I think he was also neurosurgeon yang kayak terus tabrakan and then his life changed, but in Doctor Strange's case he became Doctor Strange. Anyway, okay, nextnya adalah dari Jangan Lupa Bersyukur, Jangan Lupa Bersyukur JGN. Dia lagi mood baca romcom yang bikin kesengsem. Okay, let's get talking. Aku ngomong romcom yang bikin kesengsem adalah buku yang bikin pengen gigit jari gitu. Aku tuh lagi kayak agak gak mood baca romance gitu sebenarnya, like this past year ya gitu, karena romance gitu biasanya buat palate cleanser gitu rasanya, you know, kayak ya udah something light aja, cuman nggak mempan lagi tahun ini gitu, cuman ya udah nggak apa-apa aja sih. But anyway, I do have an interesting story before I tell you about the book. So during the early days of me dating my boyfriend, dia tuh kayak one day bilang gitu, pengen dong ngeliat library Kindle aku dan sebagainya, and I was like, that's so intimate, like that's gitu. Padahal I mean gak usah lebay deh Shell gitu ya, gak usah lebay Mish, kayak karena kalau dipikir-pikir dia juga tinggal buka Goodreads aja gak sih, kayak semua bukunya juga sudah terpampang gitu kan di situ gitu. Tapi you know what I did? What I did was aku ngedelete semua buku romance yang ada di libraryku. Kenapa ya? Kenapa? Why did I do that? I don't know. Maybe like in hindsight, I was like, mungkin nggak mau kelihatan terlalu kayak cringy, menye-menye, atau mungkin deep down ada perasaan di mana kayak, oh buku romance tuh kayak nggak substantif gitu. Padahal nulis adegan romance tuh susah loh. Maksudnya nggak segampang itu gitu loh. Jadi kenapa? Why was I don't know, undermining myself? Dan we talked about it recently and like we laughed about it because like of course I told him that I deleted the books and he's like, kenapa sih gitu kan? So I don't hide anymore. But if you are also this kind of person yang kayak mungkin ada rasa agak ragu-ragu gitu ya, to reveal your true self that you like to read romance books, repeat this with me. I am, I am. Wait, no, not I am. Okay, let's get serious. I love reading romance books. The smutty ones, the cringy ones, the steamy ones, and I am not ashamed about it. Okay? Pause this video, repeat it in your own time until you believe it, cause it is okay. For this book, bosan nggak kalau misalnya aku ngomong Emily Henry? Funny story-nya Emily Henry. I think it is lumayan bikin gigit jari gitu. I think it's her best book. Jadi I kind of forgot. I forgot the character's name. Tapi ceritanya ini ada 2 orang. Mereka itu berpacaran dengan orang lain. Okay, oh my god, I cannot do this thing. Mereka berpacaran dengan orang lain, tapi yang kedua ini pacar-pacar mereka itu ternyata jatuh cinta. Zong banget kan gitu. Jadi ini yang 2 ini gimana ya, kayak ya udah aja, tapi also like they don't know, like I think one of them don't know where to live, so she moved in with him or something. Then that's where the funny story starts gitu. And I think it's quite funny. And as always, buku-bukunya Emily Henry itu the dialogue is really witty, it's really alive and active, and it's like banter gitu ya, kayak tek 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 gitu, kayak in real life orang-orang ngomongnya kayak gitu juga ya, kayak ngobrolnya kayak se-witty itu gitu loh, witty kayak apa ya, ya tek-tek gitu loh, kayak bouncing, kayak main tenis dan lagi rally aja bolanya sana sini, if that makes sense. Ya, but yeah, I think that one bikin lumayan gigit jari. But I'm actually reading This Could Be Us by Kennedy Ryan. Jadi kalau misalnya tadi funny story itu, I think it's a book for someone in your 20, like someone in their 20s, you know, like it's a little bit more mature, not so, yeah, maksudnya yeah, it's a little bit more mature. Tapi kalau This Could Be Us ini adalah I think love stories for people in their like late 30s, like no 40s, like someone in their 40s gitu, dimana like the person that you meet is maybe, ya maksudnya sudah punya pengalaman romansa yang banyak juga gitu. Maybe they have been married before. In this case they have. Jadi namanya di buku This Could Be Us ini pemeran utamanya adalah Judah and Soledad. Jadi di Soledad ini mama 3 anak yang suaminya itu tertangkap menilap uang perusahaan dan slanky lah gitu, sehingga she needed to fend for herself. Dan kenapa ketahuan menilap uang perusahaan? Karena karena Judah gitu ya. Jadi ada cowoknya lagi. Oh my god, I'm confused with my fingers. Ada cowoknya yang dia juga dia bekerja sebagai accountant, and he found that Soledad's husband is embezzling the company's money. Dan Judah sendiri adalah udah punya anak juga, sudah berpisah, dan anak-anaknya ini in the autism spectrum gitu. Sehingga they both, you know, ada the complexity of a love gitu ya. Jadi bukan yang ya udah everyone is like clean slate and whatever gitu. They actually need a lot of work just to maybe like to meet or something. Dan ceritanya slow burn banget gitu ya, sehingga all these intimacy it feels earned gitu. Kadang buku zaman sekarang kan kayak insta love banget ya gitu, maksudnya kayak baru ketemu kayak oh you are the love of my life gitu, or like ketemu tuh udah kesengsem banget yang kayak menurut aku kurang realistik aja sih. Tapi ini bener-bener kayak timelinenya tuh lama guys gitu. Timeline buku ini tuh lama, but also I don't feel the book is slow, like memang dua-duanya hidup aja gitu seperti biasa, dan hidupnya juga menarik juga gitu. And also like they grow as themselves as their own person, then at the same time attracted to each other. So I think that is quite something like quite good to read. Well, by this year standard, at least aku bisa menyelesaikannya, or like I continue to read it. Dimana yang tadi aku mention juga di awal, aku lagi males baca buku romance. But anyway, memorable mention for Grammy Simpson's The Rosie Project and the Timmy Smutty Emma Chase's Tangled. Dua-duanya adalah buku pertama dari trilogi yang menurut aku dibacanya buku pertamanya aja, karena the rest of the trilogy menurut aku maksa aja sih, kayak it should just be a standalone book and just that's it, like leave it at that, don't force it. Okay. I'm just gonna check whether the video's on or not because I keep yapping, but okay, we are yapping and we are gonna go to the last one dari Anissa Hamaki yang mencari buku non-fiction tapi bukan memoir. Jadi kalau tadi memoir, ini maunya non-fiction tapi bukan memoir. The Body by Bill Bryson. I love this book and I know that I don't reread books, but I think I should read this book again gitu ya, karena tahu gak sih kayak dulu kalian mungkin pernah belajar biologi di sekolah dan boring banget mungkin mengingat kata-kata dalam bahasa Latin gitu kan, but so that like biology doesn't matter to you maybe back then, but this is the book that I wish I had read, that I wish I had learned biology from. I know it's like more on anatomy aja gitu, cuman if biology can be this exciting, I would be more excited to go to school gitu. Jadi buku ini, let me look at the book because it's here somewhere. Oh yeah, it's here. So, The Body by Bill Bryson. Buku ini tuh menceritakan tentang tubuh kita dan segala sistem-sistemnya. Jadi dibagi jadi bermacam-macam ya, dari pencernaan, terus bagaimana kita tidur, about sistem tadi pencernaan udah, sistem peredaran darah, lalu skeleton, microbe, kulit dan sebagainya gitu. Jadi semuanya dibahas, tapi dibahasnya tuh kayak dari sisi kayak ya di tubuh kita tuh ada apa aja dan seberapa kayak dari tubuhnya iya, tapi dari sejarahnya juga iya, cerita-cerita dan anekdot-anekdot, dan kayak apa ya, trial-trial yang orang-orang tuh pernah lakukan gitu. Maksudnya gini ya, jadi kayak modern medicine is quite new, and for most of the history of modern medicine, these doctors, they do not know what they're doing. Okay, so basically mereka tuh ya udah coba-coba aja gitu. Maksudnya coba-coba, oh ternyata I don't know, it works good, but also it doesn't work and ended up killing a lot of people. Whoops gitu. Jadi kayak ya udah trial and error aja guys sebenarnya. Jadi pas baca buku ini aku yang kayak agak ada trust issue-nya ya gitu, karena I'm sure there are still a lot of trial and error gitu ya sampai sekarang, cuman there are enough things that have worked aja gitu. Contohnya dulu tuh nggak ada antibiotik gitu, jadi a lot of people they just died not from the operation but from the infection that is caused by the operation using tools that are not even clean. Kayak bayangin guys, kayak dulu tuh orang-orang tidak berpikir untuk mencuci atau membersihkan alat-alatnya gitu. You know, so it's quite crazy, but also at the same time it's really, I don't know, it's really endearing. Jadi buku ini tuh mendeskripsikan tubuh kita sebagai sesuatu yang sangat kompleks, sesuatu yang sangat komplit. Like how can our body sustain ourself, our life gitu. Tapi juga menceritakan bagaimana tubuh kita tuh seringkih itu gitu. Maksudnya kayak ya mikroba yang sekecil itu bisa membuat tubuh kita mungkin ill atau sesakit atau sedevastating itu ketika mikroba ini menyebar ke seluruh tubuh gitu ya. So ketika baca buku ini, you will feel grateful about your body in a way that you've never had, in a way that you've never felt before. Karena kayak oh iya ya, badan kita keren juga ya, bisa begini, bisa begitu gitu. Karena like when you think about it, when you see your body from the top of your head to your toes, we don't see anything beyond the skin, beneath the skin. Kayak okay, like we may see the veins gitu ya, pembuluh darahnya, atau I don't know yang paling dalam yang bisa kita lihat apa, mungkin tenggorokan gitu ya. But kita nggak tahu nih kayak dalam kita, paru-paru kita tuh bentuknya seperti apa, usus kita bentuknya seperti apa. But like it's so intimate yet so little things we know about our own body. So it's kind of like a strange relationship in a way that they keep us alive, but do we really know them? So I think it's a very, very fascinating book. Yeah, I think I should read this again, and I hope you are like siapa tahu you're interested too. I think it's very interesting, and just the humor of it, like the way that he writes it with humor, makes the book quite unforgettable for me. Okay, so yeah, so we go through tadi udah beberapa ya, life-changing book, a memoir or biography, and romance, buku gigit-gigit jari, dan non-fiction tapi bukan memoir. So we got 4 books here today, and hopefully you learn something new or you just terhibur aja sih. By the way, kalian suka nggak mic ini? Kayak menurut aku, is this necessary? Like absolutely not. But when I was thinking about making this video, I was like, you know what? I am gonna give my life some little spice and fun and just gonna purchase like this microphone extender supaya aku kayak serasa seperti kayak host kayak dicek dan recheck dan hotshot dan acara-acara gosip that I grew up with when I was a kid. Yeah, anyway, but it's really cute. I literally laughed so much when I received this, when I bought this. Oh my god, I look so ridiculous and I love it. Okay, I am checking out. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you want to hear more about Mood for Books, and I will see you next time. Bye.